Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Jen Sainsbury and I'm the General Manager of the Healthy Kids Advisors Initiative here at the Stephanie Alexander Kitchen Garden Foundation. I'll be the host of the webinar today and I look forward to spending the next 30 minutes together as we reflect on the work of Healthy Kids Advisors since the launch of the project just over a year ago. Our theme of nourishing school communities will be front and centre as we share examples of our work from across the state with a focus on the Southern Grampians Shire and the city of Greater Dandenong. The Stephanie Alexander Kitchen Garden Foundation acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as traditional owners of the land on which we live and work, and we pay our respects to their elders, both past and present. The Foundation has over 20 years of experience in delivering our kitchen garden program and co-creating food education experiences that foster long-term engagement and sustainable change in school communities. Healthy Kids Advisors focuses on the changes that community wants to see. Our advisors leverage the Foundation's pleasurable food education philosophy to support each community's unique healthy eating goals and to encourage participation in the statewide Vic Kids Eat Well movement. As many of you know, Healthy Kids Advisors brings people together to encourage healthy and delicious food and drink options in the places where children and families gather. We work across a range of locations in each community, and just over half the organisations that we support are schools. We've chosen to focus on this topic today, as we know that schools are at the heart of community and often leaders in locally led change. The Stephanie Alexander Kitchen Garden Foundation is proudly delivering this initiative on behalf of the Victorian Government and the Australian Government, and we would like to thank the Victorian Department of Health for their support and investment in this exciting project. We're working in 13 targeted communities across Victoria, and I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the people who are joining us today from these communities and who've been champions for the health and well-being of their children and young people for generations. Joining us today to share their insight and experience, we have 4 guest speakers. Holly Piontek Walker is the Manager of Policy and Reform in the Public Health Division at the Department of Health, a key supporter of healthy eating and public health across Victoria. Monique Sobey is the Healthy Kids Advisor in the Southern Grampians Shire and will share her experience working with small regional schools. Belinda Nowakowski is the Healthy Kids Advisor for the City of Greater Dandenong and will be talking about her student-led work in diverse urban communities. And Dr. Tope Adepoyibi is the Head of the Achievement Program at the Cancer Council of Victoria and will share more about Vic Kids Eat Well and the statewide movement to create healthier food and drink environments. I'd like to pass now to Holly Piontek Walker from the Department of Health to share her welcoming remarks and reflections with us. Thanks, Holly.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I would like to add my acknowledgement of the traditional owners of the lands and pay my respect to elders past and present, and any Aboriginal or First Nations peoples on the call today. When we launched Healthy Kids, Healthy Futures, Victoria's Child Health and Wellbeing Plan in 2021, we flagged a focus on local communities as a key part of the approach. So it is with much excitement that we have supported the rollout of the Healthy Kids Advisor workforce across 13 priority communities in Victoria, providing boosted support for Vic Kids Eat Well and promoting healthy eating among young people. It will be fantastic to hear today from Healthy Kids Advisors about their experiences in listening to and supporting communities. I also want to recognise the funding contribution from the Commonwealth for this initiative and the support they have shown for innovative approaches. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the webinar.
Thank you, Holly. We really appreciate you being here with us today. We launched Healthy Kids Advisors in late March 2022, and I know that many of you are with us for the online launch. In just over a year, we've seen significant momentum build across the 13 communities that we work alongside. Our locally based advisors respond to the unique needs of their region by listening to and collaborating with families, local councils, and the health promotion workforce to improve the health and well-being of children and young people. Each advisor works with their local resources and knowledge, considerable time is taken to listen to and understand the distinct needs of each region and each school or setting. At the heart of our work, there are 4 key areas of focus. Our advisors respond to regional needs, boost collective capacity, empower young people, and connect with diversity. 13 months in, and we know that this approach is working. Across the 13 targeted communities, we are actively supporting 142 schools and 147 other settings, including sports clubs, recreation centres, and outside school hours care. In partnership with Community Health Services, we're supporting 42% of all schools registered to Vic Kids Eat Well across Victoria. And we're impacting over 50,000 or 30% of children and young people across these 13 regions. Today, we're featuring just 2 of the 13 communities that Healthy Kids Advisors is working with, the Southern Grampians Shire and the City of Greater Dandenong. We've chosen these 2 communities to highlight the strength of our approach in both a regional and metropolitan context. We have many stories like this from across Victoria, and these are highlighted on the Foundation's news page. Today, we'll do a 5-minute Q&A with both Monique and Belinda, and then hear from Tope about the work of Vic Kids Eat Well and its statewide impact. We're going to start this next segment with a short video case study that celebrates what is possibly Victoria's smallest school canteen. Let's head to the regional community of Branxholme in the Southern Grampians.
So our school is a very small school. I hear a lot of principals in my career say, oh, I've got a small school, we've only got 300 students. Well, we've got 12. It's a school that I believe has a feel that it's loved and it's family, and I think that people can walk into the school and just see that we are who we are and we do our best for our kids. Today's the celebration of the canteen. We've got families here with the kids playing lots of games, eating, just enjoying the day really as a community. Being small and regional and remote, sometimes it's a tough gig. It can feel very isolating, and especially in really small schools or regional schools, sometimes you just feel like there's just too much. But having Monique to just say, oh, what about this? Or we could look at this, or whatever it is, has been so invaluable to me. I've spoken about doing this with the canteen for about 6 years, seriously, and she's got me doing it within a term. And it hasn't been a big deal. It really hasn't.
The idea of the canteen is to fundraise for their school camp. So they sat down and worked out a menu and have worked out the best way to have fresh, healthy, delicious food on the menu that they can prepare themselves.
All of our students decided on a name. It was Camp Kitchen because we're raising money for camp and we're doing it in a kitchen.
So we operate through this kitchen out into the outdoor area and we pass the things through the window, and we have 3 seniors operating at once.
Yeah, today we were going to make soup, sausage rolls and wraps, but we figured it would be a bit too hot for soup. We also have fruit salad with yogurt.
For me, it's just having someone who's got knowledge, who can say, this is something you can do, so I don't end up thinking it's all too much.
Branxholme Wallasdale, it's one of Victoria's smallest schools. They're making a powerful impact. And I have to be honest, they have some of the best school-based chickens I have seen in my career. It's really quite incredible. Now I'd like to welcome Monique Sobey, our amazing advisor from the Southern Grampians, to join us. Monique, you're a long-time Hamilton resident. Please tell us about the Southern Grampians region and what makes it special.
Thanks, Jen. For those of you who haven't been lucky enough to visit our beautiful region, the Southern Grampians is located 4 hours west of Melbourne. The Southern Grampians Shire is largely farming and agricultural based area. Our main service centre is Hamilton, The Shire covers almost 7,000 square kilometres and has a population of 16,000 people. We have some beautiful tourist attractions out here in the Southern Grampians. Obviously, the spectacular Grampians National Park is right at our doorstep. But for me, one of the great things is we're only 3 hours from Melbourne for a quick trip for the weekend, and we're less than an hour down to the beach.
Thanks, Mon. Given the size of the Southern Grampians region and the diverse communities it contains, can you please give us a snapshot of the schools across your area?
We have 17 schools in the Southern Grampians. 9 of these are located within Hamilton itself. The rest are spread out throughout the Shire in much smaller rural communities. The sizes of the schools range from 13 to 700 students. There's over 1,000 kids that travel into Hamilton alone by bus each day. Many of these are leaving home before 7 in the morning and often without breakfast. I think, as we all know, schools are being tasked with new roles and responsibilities all the time, and healthy eating is another one. Some of our larger secondary schools have their own canteens and can tailor their menus, but the majority of schools out here don't have a canteen and are reliant on outsourcing to local cafes and bakeries, often only once a week or once a term sometimes. Since starting in my role as a Healthy Kids Advisor in Southern Grampians, I've registered 80% of the schools across the region that kids eat well.
Thanks, Mon. We just saw the video about your work with Branxholme Wallasdale Primary. It's such a sweet story. What has made that work special for you?
Yeah, it was a really great experience working with Branxholme. It's often the case that mainstream programs don't easily fit into smaller regional schools. They're designed for larger schools, and it's hard for these small schools to be able to join in. They often don't have the staffing capacity to take it on, or they're just not eligible due to their size. So unfortunately, they miss out or they're just left out. Working with the students and staff at Branxholme, we were able to tailor the program to exactly what they wanted and work together from the ground up. So as you saw, the idea was the canteen. So we sat down and worked out what they'd sell in it. We created a menu, how much they'd charge, and then obviously that they were raising money for camp. I think the most rewarding part of the whole project was seeing the pride and the passion, the excitement that the students had and staff. But in the end, for me, it was actually the real sense of pride that the whole Branxholme community had for their school.
Absolutely. I know that story resonates for a lot of people, Mon. Can you please tell us more about your approach to working with small regional schools?
It's about recognising that each school is unique in their needs, and no matter how big or small the changes they want to make are, we can work together. It's been about going to each school and sitting with either the principal and staff and students and asking what they want and what's important to them and giving them some ideas to get excited about. We worked on some goals together and create a plan that's hopefully sustainable for the school community. It can be as simple as looking at the calendar and working out where we can make some changes to highlight their commitment. For example, St Mary's Primary School, we had a refuelling station at their athletics day, fresh fruit, fruit salad and water. Or it could be looking at fundraising ideas that differ from the usual chocolate drives and icy pole days, and coming up with other ideas like fruit smoothies, fruit juice icy poles, herb posies. We don't want to create anything that's much work, and recognising that all the school communities want what's best for their kids. And then they're overwhelmed sometimes and don't know where to start, and that's why we're here to help.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Monique. Just a quick last question, because we're almost at time. There's some real momentum in the Southern Grampians around Healthy Kids Advisors and Kids Eat Well. What's something that you're really proud of that's happening in your community?
It's definitely the collaboration, Jen, working with other groups such as Generate Change and recognising all the great work that's going on in our community that's already been done and that's going to happen in the future, and coming together to work and achieve the same goals, which is we all want great things for the young people and the community of Southern Grampians.
Fantastic. Monique, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today and all the work that you're doing with schools and community partners across the Southern Grampians region.
Thank you.
We're now going to head 500 kilometres east from the Southern Grampians to the city of Greater Dandenong and chat with Belinda Nowakowski, the Healthy Kids Advisor working in that region. But before Belinda joins us, we're going to show you a short video that showcases some youth-led menu changes at an after-school program in Springvale.
So today we're at Athol Road Primary School, so I've been working with the OSH as the Healthy Kids Advisor. I've come in to help the OSH transform their OSH menu. So when I first came in and saw the menu, there were a lot of great things on there. Yes, they had the jelly and the fairy bread and some of those old favourites, but things like garlic bread pizza, you know, we just switched up to use either pita breads or wholemeal English muffins, for example, and the kids are absolutely loving those. Things like vegetable risottos and fried rice were already on the menu anyway, which is fantastic. We've replaced jelly with fruit salad or some berry yogurt pops, which the kids really love. It's such a great opportunity to get some fresh, delicious food into the kids after a long day at school.
We get anything from 24 to 30 kids, and they are very well behaved. They interact so well together. This is the best part of my day. The children here plan the menu and the activities every week. When Belinda came here and spoke with the children for the first time, the excitement of the changes, the simple things that she was changing, actually blew my mind that they were accepting it so well. So it was no drama to do it at all. We just went for it.
Oh, this one? Very
Oh, I like that better.
You like this one better?
Yeah. Can I smell?
She's just a blessing in disguise. So.
Whenever I go into a new setting, we always include the students. So we get the principal on board, the families on board, and most importantly, the kids.
Half a teaspoon of that. Chickpeas, tomatoes. Can I carry balsamic vinegar?
The Healthy Kids Advisors come out and we'll do all the work, we'll bring all the ingredients, we'll bring the ideas, we'll round the kids up and cook with them and have fun with them, and we will work to what you need in your setting.
Don't be afraid, go for it, ask questions, be part of a program that is there for your community's health and well-being.
That video puts such a smile on my face. It also makes me hungry every time. What a great range of delicious food options. Welcome, Belinda. I'm really excited that you're able to join us today to share your insights and learning from your work in Dandenong. Let's start. Tell us about the city of Greater Dandenong and why you love working in this community.
Well, what's not to love about working in one of Australia's most dynamic and multicultural communities? So there are over 160,000 people from more than 150 different countries that call Greater Dandenong home. And just to give you an idea of where we're located, we're in Melbourne's southeast, and we include other suburbs such as Keysborough, Lyndhurst, Noble Park and Springvale. So there are 49 schools in the city of Greater Dandenong, and most of them are made up of families from different communities representing sometimes up to 27 different nationalities in these schools. And I love that this is the first thing that principals always tell me about every time I have a school visit. So of those schools, I'm currently working with maybe half of them, and that represents thousands of kids that I've worked with across the past year.
Fantastic. Belinda, tell us more about how you've connected with diversity and why this has been important in your work in Dandenong.
Well, it's really one of the most special things about the city of Greater Dandenong, the way they celebrate cultural diversity in the schools and out in the community. And that's often around festivals, always based around food. And I can tell you that I've enjoyed eating my way across the city of Greater Dandenong over the past year. But how I might include this in my work, would obviously be menu items. Like we might look at changing out party pies and sausage rolls on a canteen menu one day a week and putting in like a hot noodle dish, or introducing things like curries and biryanis into after-school menus. Or if I was running a workshop at a Springvale library over the holidays, I would do a rice paper roll activity. So I always have that cultural lens whenever I'm deciding on activities or menu items. And a really great source of information for me over the past year has been the community hubs. So we have 5 community hubs embedded in schools across the City of Greater Dandenong. And these are a really great space where new migrant families can come together and socialise with the wider community. They run a range of activities. They do things like health and education and settlement support. But sitting with these community groups has really helped me get to know the community better and what they need.
Fantastic. Belinda, tell us about some of the needs that you've seen in the schools that you're working with across Dandenong.
Well, one of the benefits of being a Healthy Kids Advisor is that I have the dedicated time to spend on the ground identifying pockets of need in the community. I then try and find a resource that's already existing to fill that need. And if not, then I would kind of connect the dots with the other community network members. And I'm really fortunate to be working alongside such great organisations like Monash Health, who just recently delivered a Healthy Lunchbox webinar session, or Enliven, who do the Food from Home program, which is addressing food insecurity, such a big topic in Greater Dandenong. Friends of Refugees, the community hubs, like I mentioned, and not to mention the City of Greater Dandenong Council. So an example of a recent collaboration with the council was the School Breakfast Resource Kit, which we just developed. This was based off a need that we saw in schools that were having trouble setting up school breakfast programs in the morning. So we developed this resource. It's a bit of a how-to guide for schools. It lives on the council website and is available to all schools. And I believe some Healthy Kids Advisors in other areas are using it in their regions as well.
Fantastic. We've just watched the case study about your work at Athol Road. Belinda, tell us more about how you're engaging with young people and increasing student voice in Dandenong.
How great is that Athol Road video? Those kids are so awesome. So that video is a really great example of how important it is to include the student voice in decision making. The kids just are more empowered and enthusiastic to try new things when they're given the opportunity to vote on what they want to eat. And not to mention the positive peer pressure that comes from sitting around in a circle and eating food that their friends, their peers have cooked for them. So since working with Athol Road, I've rolled out that same activity with every other OSH that I've gone and worked in with great success. So how I would do this in a school setting would be to work with the Student Rep Council, the SRC or the JSC, you might know them as, and I get the kids on board, and whatever we plan on doing in that school, the kids drive the entire thing. So whether they are surveying the students on new menu items, or whether they want to get a kitchen garden up and running and they need to get donations or help with that, then the kids do every part of it. So they design the posters, they write the messaging to go in the newsletter, they write letters to the members of the community. They drive the entire thing from start to finish, and the pride they feel when their project gets off the ground, it's so special. And seeing the kids enjoy their work is really the best part of my job.
Beautiful. Belinda, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jen.
Next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Tope Adepoyibi, the head of the Achievement Program at the Cancer Council of Victoria. Tope and her team have led the design and implementation of Vic Kids Eat Well, and I'd like to ask Tope to share more about the work of this exciting initiative.
Thanks so much, Jen, and what a pleasure it's been to just hear about the amazing impact that the Healthy Kids Advisors are having across Victoria. So mine's just a quick sort of a few minutes to talk a little bit about Vic Kids Eat Well. So as you've seen, the kind of work that the Healthy Kids Advisors are doing is going on across the state. So it's a statewide movement, which is boosting healthy food and drink options, delicious and amazing food and drink options for kids wherever they spend their time, whether that's at school, OSH, sports clubs, or out in the community. And it's all about those simple steps and meeting these organisations where they're at and where they're ready to make change. We've had over 700 organisations so far join this movement, and the Healthy Kids Advisors work is a really big part of that. I encourage you to check out the Who Has Joined section on our website. I think the link will be posted there in the chat, and you'll really get an idea of the broad range of organisations that have come on board from every corner of Victoria. And so essentially, the way it works is any organisation who has a food environment where kids spend their time is eligible to join, and they will actually be linked with one-on-one support from staff from community health organisations across Victoria. And if that organisation is located within one of the 13 LGAs that the Healthy Kids Advisors work, they will also potentially be linked with the Healthy Kids Advisor there for that boosted support. And so registering is really easy if you're an organisation who wants to join. The link is in the chat, but we also have ways to support Vic Kids Eat Well. You can actually come on board as a supporter, or if you're an interested parent, there's ways that you can actually demonstrate support, all found on our website. So we're over 1 year into this, and it's just so amazing to see the impact that's being made by the approach of meeting organisations where they're at and bringing people together who care about ensuring our kids are surrounded by healthy food and drinks all over Victoria. So I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for the opportunity to chat with you all today.
Thank you, Tope. The Healthy Kids Advisors Initiative is really excited to be supporting the work of Vic Kids Eat Well across Victoria. I'd really like to thank all our speakers today for joining us, all the attendees for taking the time to be here with us today. And most importantly, I'd like to say a big thank you to the school staff and principals, the canteen workers, the community volunteers, the health promoters, sports coaches, and local council staff, and the thousands of others who are out there every day working hard to make sure that children and young people have access to fresh, healthy, and delicious food. That brings us to the close of our webinar today. And if you'd like to learn more about Healthy Kids Advisors and our work across these 13 targeted communities, the details are on your screen. Thanks, everyone, and have a great Thursday.